is Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU. I got Harry Douglas. I got Courtney Cronin. You got me, Freddie Coleman. It is the Freddie Courtney HD takeover. We may not give this show back to Evan Cohen, Michelle Smallman, and Chris Canty, whether they like it or not. But Courtney and HD, what's going on this Tuesday morning, my brother and sister? How you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I don't know the last time the three of us would have done a show together, so this is a real treat. I'm excited.
I think the last time we did a show together, I think I had hair.
I will say, though, I love the music that we're coming into because even though Canty, Michelle, and Evan are not on the show today, the show must go on, baby.
Absolutely.
So let's have some fun on this fantastic Tuesday.
And we're going to start it early with having fun at Pat Costello's expense because Courtney, on our show, Freddie and Harry yesterday, over the weekend, the boxer, Jarrell Miller, had his hairpiece knocked off in the second round. He caught it and literally, I'm not making this up, not figuratively, literally threw it into the crowd. And the one that caught it was the WBO heavyweight champion that was going to face the winner of the fight that he wound up winning. So when I mentioned that to Pat Costello yesterday on our show, we did our most embarrassing sports moment. If Pat Costello could have called in yesterday, he would have completely broken our show because Pat Costello, what was your most embarrassing sports moment that you shared with me before the show got started today?
Mine was also about boxers, but it had nothing to do with fighting. I was playing a JV basketball game when I was in 9th grade, I think.
Okay.
And second half of the game, varsity's sitting in the stands. Everyone's starting to fill in for the varsity game. It's overtime, and I get my pants pulled down to reveal I'm wearing Christmas boxers in front of everyone.
I thought it was going to be something about your hair
whities.
or your lack thereof.
You know what? What's embarrassing about that?
Okay.
We were talking about Jarrell Miller and how he got his toupee that is glued to his head, ripped off, punched off, and then thrown into the crowd. And I just thought that there was some parallel here because you too have a buzz.
I was pantsed in the middle of a basketball game by the way, Jay Wright's younger son.
Really?
Yes.
So you basically got two-paid in a different way, in other words. See, I got a visual image.
Interesting way of putting it, Freddie, but go on.
The best way I could do, and to keep it clean on this family program involving Pat Costello.
Listen, it's better that you didn't have on tighty whities. I think that would have been embarrassing.
I don't know if it is. I think weaing Christmas boxers in the middle of a basketball game.
Was it Christmas season? Was this like February?
Oh, then that's weird.
Oh, wow, that is weird.
That's very weird.
That's a failure to compete right there.
Clothes were dirty. I had to do what I had to do.
I bet you.
Well, how about you should have done your laundry?
Thank you. How about start there? Cleanliness next to not getting pantsiness. How about there?
Well, I had clean Christmas boxers, so what did I need to do laundry for? What could ever go wrong wearing those?
Now we know.
I've learned, Courtney and H, I've learned no matter what, he's going to have an answer to justify what happened to him when it comes to Pat Costello. So I'm just going to give up on that, get that visual image out of our heads and everybody's heads about you having Christmas boxers during a basketball game and get to the real matter of the whole thing, which is Super Bowl 60 that's happening this weekend. Of course, you got the Seahawks on one side, Courtney and HD. You got the New England Patriots on the other side. Courtney, I'm going to start with you. The Super Bowl storyline, because we didn't get any from last night's Super Bowl opening night. I know they tried. They're trying to make it a big event. I understand it, but no one's going to give away any kind of information that can be used against them. But what has you intrigued about these two teams meeting in Super Bowl 60 that happens on Sunday night?
That it's actually going to be a good game, which I know sounds so dumb when you think about it. It's the Super Bowl, after all. But if you heard the voices that we played, the highlights coming in, where you've got someone at the Super Bowl saying, yeah, we're playing the other greatest team that's still standing in the NFL. And it may not be the star-studded Super Bowl that we've seen of years past, like Eagles and Chiefs last year and all of the Tom Brady Super Bowls. And heck, the time that this Super Bowl was last played in Super Bowl 49, where you've got Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll on one side and Bill Belichick and Tom Brady in Super Bowl 49. I don't feel like this Super Bowl is being billed for what it should be, which is a matchup between two teams that you might not have expected to be here, but are two teams standing right now for good reason. The Patriots defense gets all of the credit. I understand that. They have been incredible in the postseason. But Drake Maye, despite being sacked 15 times, is still a very good quarterback. So much so that he's an MVP caliber candidate right now. While I think that award goes to Matthew Stafford, he's earned that. And on the other side of it, we talk so much about, this new dark side unit. That's what their defense is being billed as, the new Legion of Boom, the dark side. But offensively, what we're seeing from Seattle is something that just started to come alive weeks 17, 18, and through the playoffs. They finally have a run game. Sam Darnold isn't turning the ball over. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's been terrific all season long, has taken his game to the next level. So I want those storylines being talked about, not just, yeah, this is a ho-hum Super Bowl. Guys, it's the Super Bowl. We should be pumped about this from every single angle and not acting like, well, this is kind of like a B-minus matchup, because I think it's better than that.
And I agree, Courtney. I think there are a lot of intriguing matchups within these two teams. I have three things that stick out to me, and I'll save the best for last, but I'm going to start with Christian Gonzalez versus Jackson Smith and Jigba. You talk about two young players in the league that are at the highs of their game in this respected sport. Jackson Smith and Jigba, he led the league in receiving yards. Christian Gonzalez, he's a guy that made the Pro Bowl. Even though he's playing in the Super Bowl, he made that list. He's playing at a high level. He's been phenomenal throughout the playoffs. Number two is going to be the return game. When you look at Marcus Jones, and every time he touches the football in the return game, there's an opportunity for him to score a touchdown. Well, you go on the opposite side and look at Rashid Shaheed, a guy who they traded for at the trade deadline. Just about every time he touches the football in the return game, there's an opportunity to return it for a touchdown as well. And then thirdly, I'm going to go with the two quarterbacks. You look at Sam Darnold and how so many people have written him off throughout his career. This is his fifth team in the last 8 years. But then you look at that NFC Championship game and him putting his team on his back. All three of his touchdown passes came under pressure. He threw for 346 yards as well. And then you look on the opposite side at Drake Maye, who hasn't had the glaring numbers in the postseason, but he's made plays. You look at the Houston Texans game, making those pinpoint accurate throws downfield and the accuracy being displayed. You look at the game versus the Denver Broncos, and even though his pass game wasn't there, utilizing his athleticism and rushing the football effectively. And then in the Los Angeles Chargers game, that touchdown pass to his tight end. So, both of these quarterbacks with an opportunity to really stand out at their position on the biggest stage, I would say.
Courtney Cronin, Harry Douglas, Freddie coming in for the guys and lady today on Unsportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance and ESPN Radio and ESPN2. All that sounds wonderful. I love the way that Courtney, you laid it out. I love the way HD, you laid it out, because Courtney and HD, you're right. This should be a fantastic game. Should be talked about more. For a lot of people, they're still trying to get used to the fact that you don't have the Kansas City Chiefs in a Super Bowl, or you don't have the Philadelphia Eagles in a Super Bowl. They were bringing those storylines to the table, so this is a lot of new for everybody. It's a new New England Patriots, post Tom Brady, post Bill Belichick. It's a Seattle Seahawks team. There are probably some Seahawks people out there that are thinking, Russell Wilson doesn't play for the Seahawks anymore? He hasn't played for the Seahawks in a long time. That was the last time the Seattle Seahawks were talked about in this kind of fashion. So this is an opportunity, once again, for the NFL to be the NFL. How many times we've gone into situations with NFL games and all of a sudden something breaks out and you say, man, I should have paid more attention to that. That's always going to be the beauty of the National Football League and why they continue to be the biggest, baddest gorilla in the jungle. Because you may not have that knowledge going in, but then coming out, that's what you're going to talk about. Whether Sam Darnold storyline, Drake Maye's storyline, Mike Vrabel, all those kind of things. It may not be, quote unquote, going in a lot of sexiness to this matchup, but coming out, I guarantee you, there'll be enough storylines to carry today that people are going to say, I should have paid more attention to this before the game got started.
And Freddie, I would say this. My son is 6 years old. And yesterday he asked me, he said, Daddy, is football not on the TV right now? I said, no, son. Like it's Super Bowl Sunday.
Like the rest of us.
Yes. I said, it's going to be Sunday, the Super Bowl. He was like, well, why do we have to wait so many days for the Super Bowl? So a 6-year-old is intrigued about this matchup, and he has these little figurine things I buy him of different teams and different players. And he said, well, Daddy, can you get me one from the Patriots and one for the Seahawks? I said, well, who you want to win the game, son? He said, Dad, I want the Seahawks.
Really?
I like how they play.
Really?
So he likes that physicality that Seattle plays with, and it's intriguing to him at 6 years old.
I like that. That seems like a safer activity, Freddie, than playing baseball in the house, which I know the two of you are wanting to do a lot. But like the fact that your son knows about the Seahawks and he picked them, and it's the storylines here. You said the physicality, so obviously that dark side defense, but the other side of it being what Sam Darnold has done and what it's been built up to be. So he signs a 3-year, $100.5 million contract with them this offseason, yet I still think that there are people who are holding their collective breath, waiting to see, does he turn into a pumpkin? Do the turnovers start happening? They had 28 turnovers in the regular season. He was responsible for 20 of them, combination of fumbles and interceptions. Here's what I want to know. If he continues the way he's been playing. He finishes the quest. No turnovers, no Sam Darnold of old popping up here. Can we officially retire that storyline around him, or are we going to keep expecting that it happens at some point? Because that's what I get sick of. So, that's what I get sick of happening, where he plays great football for stretches, and people are like, well, I don't know. It might happen at some point. He might turn into a pumpkin here in the biggest stage. I would like to hope that if he wins the Super Bowl, regardless of if he's MVP of the Super Bowl or not, if he doesn't turn the ball over, or even if he does and it's not a back-breaking interception, can we finally give this guy the credit that he deserves as a quarterback who is a championship-level quarterback in this league?
Well, people are never going to do that. Here's why. People love to see other people fail, no matter what kind of circumstances it is, no matter what they've been able to overcome. When you've been a personal whipping boy that Sam Darnold has been, Courtney, to your point, and HD and I talked about this in our show, many people rather see him fail than succeed because HD has said it best. That's the kind of society that we live in. It's very easy to exalt those when they do something fantastic, but it's a lot easier to try to bring those down. They're in situations that you're never going to be in, even in your wildest dreams. Believe me, if Sam Darnold goes out there, to me, he has the most to gain from anybody in this Super Bowl with a win. If he's able to go out there and lead Seattle to a win, and he plays the same way he did against the Los Angeles Rams and Matthew Stafford in an NFC Championship game, that storyline is going to continue to take center stage because now no one will be able to say anything. But there's always going to be that one, well, he got lucky. Well, it was a lucky situation. They always would rather see people fail than succeed because, HC, like you said, time and time again, it seems like more people get more enjoyment out of that or being critical of someone's success and not giving them the flowers that they rightfully deserve when they earn those flowers, no matter if it's Sam Darnold, Drake Maye, or anybody else.
Freddie, it's sad that I'm about to say this, but our world thrives off negativity. And I don't understand why it's like that, but that's the reality of it. And even if Sam Darnold goes out there and throws 3 touchdown passes and 300 yards, there's still going to be multiple people, more than I can count on both of my hands put together, that says, yeah, but can he follow it up with another season? Instead of just giving the young man credit.
Hurts, right? Like we did that with Jalen Hurts last year. It's like, all right, guy wins Super Bowl MVP. Can he be the reason that they win? Are we just going to keep crediting the offensive line or crediting Saquon Barkley or crediting A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith? It was never, wow, this guy's a really good quarterback. He just won Super Bowl MVP in the process. Yet for some reason, right away, the conversation was, well, he did it because of X, Y, Z. So if Sam Darnold wins Super Bowl MVP, we had to turn our votes in at ESPN.com yesterday, and I picked the Seahawks to win 27-23, and I put Darnold as my Super Bowl MVP because I looked at the odds. He's got the shortest odds at the moment. But what will the story be then? Oh, well, it's just because he's thrown to Jackson Smith and Jigba. Oh, it's just because Kenneth Walker has been able to pick up this load because Zach Charbonnet's out.